魔法、それは聖なる力。魔法、それは未知への冒険。魔法、そしてそれは勇気の証。
Magi Luna Revuge, Merry Christmas, and welcome to KamenRider Blackman. What better way to celebrate the holidays than with, well, for starters, with family, and also with a series of YouTube videos, which are going to be rotating to family, because for today's review, we will be discussing Mahou Sentai Magiranger, considering this year is its 20th anniversary. And I know recently there was like some live show or something with half of the cast there. Like the only two people missing were Magi Red and Wolzard, which we'll get to in quite a bit. But everyone else was there. Magi Yellow, Pink, Blue, Green, Magi Shine, Magi Mother, all those characters we're going to get into quite a bit, but this show, surprisingly so popular to have a live show out just for the fans and the actors to come back and, well, just get along. And so, with that said, while I'm at it too, by the time this video comes out, this may likely be my final video of the year, to which, alright, like, end off the year with Magiranger. That's pretty good, especially since next year, mainly in like February, we're going to kick off 2026 with reviewing Gokaiger, celebrating its 15th anniversary. And so, I guess before getting further into the video and the review, let me give out an idea right now. After this, I'm going to be taking a break in January because all that time will most likely be spent watching Gokaiger. And I'm going to come back in February just reviewing Gokaiger. And so, with that said, let's get on with Magiranger. Starting off with the opening. It is not a bad song. I'll admit, I've listened to the song a couple of times just to read the lyrics, and like how King Oger's opening was pretty triumphant, this song is pretty fantastical, which makes sense because this show is all about magic. So reading lyrics and singing about going on an adventure, challenging yourself, and mainly just being courageous. This is actually not a bad song. It's a cheery, perky type kind of song, but it's not obnoxiously perky. And the closing theme's not bad. I didn't pay attention to it so much because, well, show's over, on to the next episode. But the opening, it's such a song you gotta listen to just to wake yourself up and get the day going. So, let's finally get on with the show. Starting off with, well, episode 1, but not episode 1. The first episode is stage 1, as all the episodes are referred to as stages. I want to say that's because magic and magicians forming magic shows, so instead of spell 1 or performance 1, it's stage 1. So, alright. So, stage 1, the morning of the journey's beginning. Our show opens on a little girl losing a balloon and a stranger going to retrieve it for her. Our main characters to focus on are the Ozu family, the family matriarch Miyuki and her children, the firstborn and eldest son Makito, the secondborn and eldest daughter Hoka, the two middle siblings, Ruara and Tsubasa. Ruara is the third-born daughter, and Tsubasa is the fourth-born and second son. And lastly, there's Kai, the youngest sibling, who climbed up a plaza to retrieve a balloon. One could imagine that little girl just thinking, I could just get another balloon before this guy dies because of me. But Kai gets back down, fantastically, and gets chewed out by his family for his dangerously stupid stunt. They dodge the press, and a Hades beast arrives from under them, and Miyuki defends her family by morphing into a Magiranger named Magi Mother. Interesting thing to note is that when Magi Mother morphs for the first time, she uses a regular Magiphone the Core 5 use, but later she uses something different. But let's talk about Magi Mother since her suit is the first one we see. Her suit is so beautiful. I love everything with this suit. Just the M design on it, the helmet, the white and silver. Everything with this suit is very beautiful. I need a moment to pull it up because I'm going off of pure memory right now, but even with pure memory, the suit is just so beautiful. And yep, I pulled it up. Beautiful suit. The white and silver and gold. I love it. Everything with it is perfect. And so now, let's talk about the team's morpher, the Magiphone. Not just for the design, but this is also another changer that's getting a Memorial Edition sold this year. Or, well, going into next year. And God, I want to buy one. I do not have a lot of Memorial Edition stuff, and I would love to start with the Magiphone. Design-wise, it looks beautiful. It's gold. It's black and gold. Perfect. And unlike other cell phone changers, it can flip out into a wand, which is fantastic for a magic-themed show. I just really like how this cell phone looks, either as a wand or a phone. If I could be honest, some people say that cell phone morphers are overdone. I personally don't mind. It maybe just because of how the designs look and all. I don't know, constantly, I understand it. Seeing a cell phone again and again would be boring, but I don't know, sometimes they spread it out. I'll admit, after this, we get another cell phone morpher, but it's at least a different looking phone, unlike this, which is like a flip phone. And before this show was Decoranger, and they didn't really have a cell phone per se. Their morpher was a police badge that could also act like either a phone or a straight up radio. So we get breaks and variety, at least. But before going further, let's mention our villains for this show, the Underground, Hades, Empire, and Furnitia. As of right now, we see the important people, the current monster in charge. Curtain or current? Oh yeah, I think I said current. I mean curtain. Word flubs. The current monster in charge is the Victory General Bronkin, and a vampire named Vancuria that can split into two people called Night and Mare. Night and Mare. Nightmare? Get it? Got your card. Thomas, if you're watching this video, I hope you are laughing at that. Anywho, yeah, there's Bronkin, Nightmare, and the dark magician named Woolzard. And so, the dark magician Knight Woolzard, he looks great. Purple, gold, and black, beautiful. But here's a curious question I have. Why does he have wolves on his shoulders when he has nothing to do with wolves? I don't know, but it looks fucking cool. And the W visor, he's just so cool for being so evil. I'm actually kind of happy that after this, we'll actually get a Purple Ranger. just so we can step away from purple indicating evil. And so, Miyuki explains the family's magical heritage to her children and gives everyone except Kai their gear to become Magirangers. The reason why Kai was left out was pretty obvious. He's very short, impulsive, and doesn't think before he acts. So, everyone gets a buzz that Zobiles, the show's minions, are on the surface and are heading for the public. The four siblings head out to stop them, and I quite like their debut battle. Like, when you think about it, they aren't martial artists, athletes, or trained public servants like Sentai before them. They're magicians. So instead of flashy fight choreography, the charm is in them playing with magic, which makes their personalities shine a bit more, considering they were thrown into everything so sudden. So their first battle could also be seen as them getting, accustomed to their powers. Like, think of the first episode of, Mighty Morphin, and after the Rangers, morph, you see them get used to the powers, in combat, and it's so nice. So, I'm not going to talk about the suits just yet, because I want to wait until we get all 5. But each Ranger is an elemental. Magiro is Earth, which could expand to trees and rocks, as this was before Earth was more not as clear. You look at something like Shinkenger, and green is wood and yellow is Earth, meaning the rocks. But this was before then, so for Earth, it's just, the straight up ground. Greenery, rocks, pretty much Earth. So, Hoka is wind, Urara is water, Tsubasa is lightning, and fire is, red, which we'll see pretty soon.
Woolzard arrives on the scene, and Kai is terrified, but once he sees his older siblings about to be killed, he shows real courage, standing up to Woolzard and earns his gear, becoming our Red Ranger.
Courage is a big aspect of this show, as bravery can translate into magic, as we'll see the more they display genuine courage, they level up and gain new spells. So, now that we have all 5, let's talk about their suits. These suits are 20 years old, and they look beautiful. Honest to God, I believe I might have done a tier list before for Sentai suits, and these suits made it to S tier. They're that great. The M logo coordinated on their suits is beautiful. I love the visors of the different mythical creatures they all are. I love the helmets. This is a Sentai where capes work because they're magicians. And I guess, magicians do wear capes. Oh my god, I just realized that. Magicians wear capes. I was literally thinking about the cloaks that they were wearing before, but no. Magicians do wear capes. Oh my god, I just remembered that. And that makes these suits look all the more awesome. I don't even know if I have a favorite. I just love all these suits. They look great. Well, if I could have a favorite, it might be Yellow's, because I love the design on his helmet for the Garuda. It just looks so sweet. And so, before going further, I actually want to talk about their morphing sequence too, because I may not remember. I feel like we have something here that was never particularly explained in Mystic Force. And that's the random avatars behind the Rangers when they morph. In Mystic Force, I always kind of wondered about that, but here it's properly explained that those entities are Heavenly Saints, which are mighty magical warriors, and they call upon them to grant them powers, and you actually hear it in their morphing call too. Before the Mahou Henshin, they say, "Heavenly Saints, could you grant us the power of magic?" it's basically like a prayer before its morphin time. So that I feel like is worth mentioning just because we actually hear some context. And so, while we're still on the suits, let's actually talk a bit about their arsenal. For one, they do have, well, I'm thinking about two things right now. I'm thinking about their main weapon, the Magi sticks, which are magic wands, and their vehicles, which are flying broom translated bikes, I guess. I don't remember the name of them, but they were like, I think in Mystic Force they were called Mystic Racers, which were like hovercrafts. If flying broomsticks were hovercrafts, basically. I'm gonna show a picture giving an idea of them and all, but yeah, those vehicles. They are not used very often, and it's a shame that they weren't. But wow, they don't look too bad. But for their main weapons, the Magi sticks, they're basically magic wands that could transform into weapons for only the guys and not the girls for some odd reason. Like, yeah, you could still use them for like hitting sticks, but like, what gives? Like, how come the girls don't get anything special? Especially compared to Magi Mother, who gets a scepter shaped like their wands. So maybe it's because, like, idea-wise, they've just started becoming Magirangers, and she's clearly been a magic user for a lot longer. So maybe the idea of how high your level of magic is corresponding to your weapon. But either way, that's still crap, because red gets a sword, green can turn his wand into an axe, and yellow can turn his into a crossbow. And anytime I looked at yellow's crossbow, I always wondered, where's the trigger on it, unless he, like, I guess holds it like this and aims it like this, but there's no trigger. But then again, the little stem parts on the end of their like Magi sticks, he could be holding that like a trigger, I guess. But yeah, the Magi stick weapons, they don't look bad. They're pretty simple and are nice. And that's about it. It's just wow that pink and blue don't get anything. Stage 2, coming off of the last episode, Woolzard grows giant and combines with his horse, Barnkurion, and becomes a centaur form called Wool Kentaros. Sweet. It just looks cool. He is a centaur. I'm sorry, he just looks cool. Like, if Woolzard needed any more reason to be intimidating, this is a precursor.
And Woolzard kills their mother right in front of them.
You bastard!
Everyone's in shock until they hear Infernitia back attacking the city. Kai, Makito, and Urara get the nerve enough to move, but Tsubasa and Hoka are too traumatized to continue. Which, I can be honest here, like, I get it. They just saw their mother killed right in front of them. So, yeah, I'd be freaked out a bit too. But at least some of them are having the goal to keep moving forward and want payback. Okay, I'm mainly saying this about Tsubasa. Like, for the past 2 episodes, he's just come off as a pussy. Like, between this episode and the last episode, him and Kai have been the only ones showing some personality, and Tsubasa is just a pussy. Like, that is until he and Hoka discover their home's lair and their magical heritage. Their father was a great heavenly saint and a warrior who fought to protect the surface world and the magical world of Magitopia from the Infernitia, sealing away Edma, the great monster leader of Infernitia. Now, Infernicia's back, and the fate of the world is in the hands of Blajail's children, the Magirangers. Before I get further into the episode, I just want to talk about Nai and Mare and how they merge together, becoming Valkyria. It's like they come together and their faces melt into her. It disgusted the fuck out of me seeing that almost any time on screen. I covered my eyes almost any time, like half of the time, because I always knew it was coming, because this is like my second time watching this show. But oh my god, it always grossed me out. Hoka and Tsubasa are all in, and for their first giant monster battle, they earn a new spell granting them their Magin forms. Whew! Now I get to talk about their mech forms. We once again come across rangers that become their mechs instead of piloting their mechs. And this is tied with KamenRider, in my opinion, for being good examples of how you coordinate your Sentai becoming their mechs. And here the concept's perfect. It's magic. And they're not giant sentinels. Like, they're all mythical creatures. Like, green is a Mentor, he is the largest, and pink is a fairy, and subsequently is the smallest. Like, this actually, too, makes me start paying attention to, like, proper scaling with mechs in Sentai. Because sometimes I would pay attention to where if something doesn't seem right, like, is this too short or is this too small? Like, this makes me pay attention to that. And like what I said, like, green becomes a Minotaur, so he's traditional Megazord height, and everyone else is just, well, shorter than him. Like, red, blue, and yellow, like, they're all literally the same height, while green is literally the largest. Like, there are so many double meanings with that, like, for starters, all of them being siblings. But Minotaurs are also large mythical creatures, too, so... Shoot, for which one of them is my favorite? It's kind of hard to say. I do like the Garuda. Once again, the Minotaur is so large, like, he could body monsters all on his own. But yeah, I like the Garuda. The Phoenix is also pretty cool, and it's also pretty interesting, considering it's not a bird, it's a person. Like, maybe they were thinking, like, they were gonna think, like, individual mechs for everyone that could fight on their own. And when they came across Red being a phoenix, it's like I said, there's feathers around his head to indicate it, but it's still a dude. Don't get me wrong, I love the Phoenix. It looks awesome. It's probably a contender with the Garuda for my favorite, but that's just so interesting how it's... I don't know, it's like, it would seem like Red is special, but on the other hand, it's... I'm not really in a... It's hard to really say. It's just that... That's just an outlier, if I could be honest.